Welcome to the Resilient Retail Game Plan, a podcast for anyone wanting to start, grow or scale a profitable creative product business with me, Catherine Erdley. The Resilient Retail Game Plan is a podcast dedicated to one thing, breaking down the concepts and tools that I've gathered from 20 years in the retail industry and showing you how you can use them in your business. This is the real nuts and bolts of running a successful product business, broken down in an easy, accessible way. This is not a podcast about learning how to make your business look good. It's the tools and techniques that will make you and your business feel good. Confidently plan, launch and manage your products, and feel in control of your sales numbers and cash flow to help you build a resilient retail business. Hello and welcome to the Resilient Retail Game Plan. I'm your host, Catherine Erdley, as well as the founder of the Resilient Retail Club, which is my consultancy and membership group for product businesses. You can find out more at resilientretailclub.com. And before we get into today's episode, I wanted to just invite you to take a moment to either follow or subscribe to the podcast, depending on where you listen. That way you will be the first to know about every new episode as it comes out each week, and it really helps spread the word about the podcast too. So thank you so much. And I also want to say thank you to everyone who has taken the time to either rate the podcast in Spotify or iTunes or write a review. It means the absolute world to me. And as I said, it makes such a difference to getting the word out and helping get the podcast in front of more people. I also just want to say as well that one of the things that I'm going to be touching on today, one of the topics which is about getting people to spend when they do come and shop with you at Christmas. I'm actually doing a whole talk on this subject. It's coming up at the end of November. If you go to resilientretailclub.com/Christmas, you'll be able to sign up for free and come join me live on the day to find out much more about this in-depth topic. And without further ado, on to the podcast. Today's episode is all about growing your sales at Christmas. So if you have heard me talk about sales before, then you may well have heard me talk about the 4 ways to grow sales. And those 4 ways, there are only 4 ways that you can grow your sales as a product business. And they are, number 1, to get more people to come. Number 2, to get more people to spend when they do come. Number 3, get people to spend more each time they come. And number 4 is to get people to come back more often. This is one of the fundamental principles that I talk about a lot when it comes to sales. It's what my courses in the club are built around. It certainly features in a chapter in the book of my Tame Your Tiger, How to Stop Your Product Business Eating You Alive, which is on pre-order. You can pre-order it from all good bookstores and it is coming out in February. Anyway, side note. But what I wanted to do specifically in this podcast episode is talk a little bit more about how these 4 principles translate at Christmas, because it is slightly different. We are now into November, which means that we are fast approaching the golden weeks. The golden weeks are the 6 weeks in the run-up to Christmas that can represent more than 50% of annual turnover for some small businesses, especially the ones that are more gifting focused, which is most of small businesses because you are design-led, and basically small business products make perfect gifts. So in other words, we're really at crunch time. And when we're at crunch time, these 4 principles, they still apply, absolutely still apply. However, they are slightly different, slightly nuanced at Christmas time. And that's what I want to run through with you today. So number 1, get more people to come. This is a tricky one at Christmas because so many of the elements of getting more people to come, things like improving your SEO, doing brand building work like PR, collaborations, things like that, that can be really hard to do on a short-term basis. So a lot of the things about getting more people to come, to be honest, even things like running ads, where you do get instant results, but most ad specialists will tell you that the 4th quarter is not the time to jump in and start trialing ads, because it's a very noisy time in the ad space. Lots of big businesses will be putting a large percentage of their spend into the 4th quarter. So it's not really a great time to jump in and start trying to compete with that. So basically, what's tricky about this topic, and something that we've discussed in the Facebook group in the Resilient Retail Club a few times, is that we're not looking for long-term solutions at this point. When you're running towards Christmas at full speed, you want to get more eyeballs on your business, you don't have as many choices. As I said, you could write blog posts and you should write blog posts. You could and should work on your SEO, but ultimately you are not going to see the results of those immediately. So what you have to do is slightly look at your options for getting more people to come. Number one, I think, is being present on social media, showing up. And I've talked a lot about this on my Instagram account. If you follow me over on Instagram at Resilient Retail Club, things like the cycle of doom, where maybe sales slow down, so you take less action, so sales slow down and it goes around and around and around. Quite simply, if you're on social media, make sure you are showing up and you are actually appearing, being visible. Sometimes with social media, especially if you kind of really capture people's imaginations and your products are being seen, it can be a way of driving short-term sales. To be honest, one of the best ways to get more eyeballs on your business is events. So are there any opportunities to join any Christmas events, pop-ups, places that you wouldn't normally sell? It is tricky. Again, this is not to say that this is an easy fix, because a lot of these events are actually sold out at this point. But it's just, again, thinking outside the box slightly when we're trying to, let's say, I mean, this is all really assuming that you're sitting here and you're thinking, I want a boost of sales. Like, what can I do? Have a look and see, are there any local events to you? Are there any fairs that do have spaces that you could jump in on and that could help you get your business in front of other people? Collaborations. I'm always a fan of collaborations. This is probably not the time of year to start trying to build new relationships with people that you've never spoken to before, because product businesses are just simply very, very busy at this time of year. But could you reach out to somebody that you maybe have previously collaborated with and see if you can do any kind of sort of co-promotion, really, just thinking about ways that you can get in front of them. PR, again, this can be a bit of a slow burner, but if you are really determined to get into, for example, Christmas gift guides, it's worth remembering that there are lots of gift guides that are online, for example, that will be looking for product submissions in the run up to Christmas. So you're too late for the long lead. You're too late for probably some of the online ones, but just keep an eye out and keep looking around for opportunities to try and feature in at least some of the quick turnaround online guides, because there are hundreds of them. Rosie Davis-Smith at PR Dispatch, who is the authority on Christmas PR, definitely go check her out, see what tips, information she's sharing. But basically, she points out how many gift guides there are and how many they run and how they run them all the way up until Christmas. So it's definitely worth having a look at those. So as I said, you don't have as many options as you normally do at this time of year. Unfortunately, if you've not built your email list all the way through the year, it is hard to suddenly get it at this time of year. But email is an interesting one. It sort of falls somewhere in between getting more people to come and getting people to come back more often. But I think it's worth really thinking about, if you are doing events, if you are already scheduled to sign up for pop-ups or craft fairs, in-person events, or even the big ones like Country Living or Spirit of Christmas, things like that, make sure you've got a strategy in place for how you're going to get people's emails addresses, because that will help you not only in the run up to Christmas. You could send them an email after the event with an offer or just a feature of a product, but it will also help you so much going forward. So definitely make sure you're thinking carefully about your emails. So with all of that said, I actually think this first one, getting more people to come, is the trickiest at this time of year, because we need something that's going to be quick. I would say that you're almost worth you thinking in more detail about some of the other options. So getting more people to spend when they do come. Point number 2, getting more people to spend when they do come is really all about conversion. And it's specifically about making sure that customers have got the information that they need to make the purchase decision. And I think it is really, really important when you are in the Christmas period to make sure that people really, really understand everything that they need to know to make a purchase from you. And to be honest, that you're pitching your products to them as the perfect solution for their Christmas needs. That means making sure that your product descriptions are reflecting the Christmas, that you have got categories on your website for things like stocking fillers or gifts under £25, gifts for animal lovers, gifts for gardeners. You're really trying to make it as easy as possible. Do you have gifting options? If you normally sell a single item, say a candle or a soap, can you bundle that up with other things so that people can really clearly see, this is a gift, this will be a great gift for this person? Because I quite often talk about Christmas. You need to offer people round pegs for round holes. That means somebody is looking for a office Christmas party, Secret Santa gift. They go onto your website. It says Secret Santa gift, perfect for your colleagues. And they know that is exactly what they want. Don't expect them to be creative. Don't expect them to think outside the box. Of course, you probably love thinking outside the box and love being creative, but that's because you are a creative person and that's why you run a creative product business. But a lot of people, they just don't have time. They don't have the headspace. And they sometimes, very often actually, I think your customer probably lacks the confidence to think, oh, I'm going to know how to put together an amazing gift. That is a skill. That is something that takes practice. And I think that it's important to remember that your customer may not have those skills and may need you to help guide them. So make sure that, number one, you're selling people really the idea of your product being the perfect gift and explaining why it's the perfect gift. Number two, being so clear and transparent about all of your gifting options. Can you wrap it? Can you write a note? Can you show a lovely picture of what it's going to look like? Because they want to know what it's going to look like, especially if it's being sent directly. They don't have time to go root around in your terms and conditions or your shipping information to find out that you can send it with a note. That you need it as a pop-up or a bar or something just really obvious in their face or in every single product description to tell them that you can do this, that you can send it to them, that it's the perfect gift and you're going to make it super easy for them. I think you can't underestimate the fact that purchasing decisions, especially in a poor time like Christmas, they're made in split seconds. You just have seconds to capture people's imagination. They aren't going to spend hours and hours researching and rooting through your website to find the information. You have to serve it up to them on a plate. And if you're in a physical space, then it's about customer service. It's about your team being able to talk to your customers about what a perfect gift is. It's about training them to come up with a gift idea so that they can say to somebody, oh, you're looking for something for a 6-year-old girl. Sure, let me show you what we've got. And I would suggest putting this with this. Like all of that. It's great customer service, but it also will help drive conversion. And really at Christmas time, your customer is looking for something and they have got money to spend. We could pick over the semantics as to whether or not they've got more money or less money than last year, but they have got money to spend for Christmas presents. So it's about you then therefore serving the information up on the plate and being really on top of your game with this is so important at Christmas time. And it will help you because, as I said, there aren't as many options in a way at driving sales at Christmas, bizarrely, because you need a short-term result. And improving your conversion is a short-term result. You make your conversion twice as good as it was before, your sales go up. Your sales double, in fact. So it's really, really worth taking that time to work on it. And also, I think as well, don't underestimate, I can't say this enough, the customers are lazy. They don't have a ruler to hand. So if you describe something as being 7 centimeters by 7 centimeters, don't expect them to know what that looks like. You just got to show them the pictures in context to make sure that they can see everything about a product, make sure that they can understand it, see the back of it, see what it looks like on a person, see what it looks like, just every single way that you can think of to show it to them. And I always bring this up as my particular bugbear, but if you sell earrings, for example, show them on an ear because you can't get a sense of scale until you really see something in context with something to help you get a sense of scale. The third one that I just want to touch on is getting people to spend more each time they come. So it's the third way to grow your sales. And this is a really powerful one at Christmas as well. Because again, even if you don't manage to improve your conversion, you have the same number of people coming, the same number of people buying, but each one spends 10% more, then your sales will go up 10%. And this is the theme of my talk that I have coming up at the end of November. So go to resilientretailclub.com/Christmas if you would like to sign up to the talk and find out more about this topic, because it's more than I can cover in the podcast. It's just I want to touch on it and to get your brain whirring and thinking about it. It's also one that people sometimes feel a bit awkward about because they feel like, is this exploitation? Am I, taking advantage of my customer, etc., etc.? And I would have to say, when it's done well, it is a win-win-win situation. And that means that it's easy. It's great for you because your customer is spending more with you. And it's great for your customer because you've solved some kind of problem for them. So much so with this idea of getting people to spend more each time, it's often about solving a problem, putting together an offering which is the perfect gift for them so they don't have to go to multiple stores to find things. Sometimes it's about saying, you know what, I'm just going to buy this really nice little gift. It's going to suit so many people on my gift list, and I'm just going to buy 10 of them. And then that way I just know that half of my Christmas shopping list is taken care of. So think about the ways that you can either build out multi-buy offers or bundles or ways of encouraging customer spend. Again, in a physical space, it's often to do with customer service, because you are just saying to your customers, can I help you? Can I help you find the perfect gift? And it's also a way for you to suggest other items as well, add-on items, or things that will complete the product. If you sell the product, but you also sell the care package that goes with the product. So shoes is the perfect example of this. You buy the shoes, you also buy the shoe care products. That's helpful for the customer because they know they're going to be able to take care of their purchase. It's helpful for you because your customer spend has increased and everybody is happy. So I really think with this particular element, getting people to spend more when they do come, it's really about, as I said, looking for those win-win-win situations where everybody's happy, rather than trying to do something that is manipulative or sneaky or is encouraging overconsumption, for example. The other thing as well to say is that you can set up your promos to encourage increased spend. That is things like, on the simplest way you could do that is free shipping over £50, which many of us do already, that type of thing. But just thinking about how that might work specifically in your overall Christmas promotional strategy. And then the fourth one, get people to come back more often. This is really interesting again at Christmas because we don't necessarily expect to see multiple purchases from somebody during the Christmas period. So in this particular case, I think that this one at Christmas time relates more to getting people to come back who've purchased from you previously. And this is really, I'm going to leave you with my plea to not forget about your most loyal customers. Nobody is more likely to buy from you than someone who's already bought from you. And at Christmas time, more than ever, when you're thinking of all the different ways that you can grow, don't forget that there's a whole group of people who've purchased from you previously. So don't forget to reach out to them. You can also have a look at and see if there are any products that you sell that are seasonal. So, for example, a calendar or a diary, something that is specifically an item that you would purchase on a repeated basis, or even your Christmas cards. So last year, somebody bought Christmas cards from you. Well, they're going to want to send Christmas cards again. So why not send them a super targeted email that says, you bought these Christmas cards from me last year. Here are all of my new designs. So many different ways that you can do this. Get creative with it. But basically, don't forget about these people. They are the warmest part of your audience. They are the people who know you, who love you, who trust you enough to have given you their payment details. And don't forget about them. I think that focusing in on these people at Christmas and maybe having an entire, I talked about promotional strategy in a talk last week. And one of the things that I would encourage you to do, if you haven't done so already, is not just have a promotional strategy, but have one specifically that caters for your most loyal customers as well, your VIPs, the people on your email list. And that will help you a lot at Christmas because you want people who trust you, they know you, you've got a great selection for them. So make sure that you're out there telling them about your Christmas selection. And if you don't have an email list, start building one now. This time next year, you'll be so glad that you did. So there you have it. My quick run through 4 ways to grow your sales at Christmas. So I hope you have taken away from this some good ideas, ways that you can dig into a bit more about your strategy in the run up to Christmas. I know we don't have a huge amount of time left, but there are still so many different things that you can try even at this time of year. So don't forget about them. Don't put all of the focus on getting more people to come, because I do think this is one of the trickiest times of year to actually do that. You're much better off looking at the far warmer part of your sales funnel. So sales funnel or customer journey being the journey that people go through to make the decision to buy your product. The warmer part of the people who've spoken to you before, who've engaged with you before, then you're not coming to them cold, someone that they've never met before. That will be the most profitable part of your funnel at Christmas. It always is all year round, but at Christmas it's even more important than ever. So definitely don't forget about them. I hope you enjoyed today's episode. If you have a moment, do hop over and rate and review. As I said at the beginning, it makes a huge difference to me. If you rate the podcast, review the podcast in iTunes, whether you subscribe or follow to be the first to know about each new episode, that really makes a huge difference as well. And of course, if you want to know more about growing your average spend at Christmas, then come along to my talk at the end of November. You can sign up at resilientretailclub.com/Christmas. If you've enjoyed this week's episode, then I invite you to check out resilientretailclub.com. The Resilient Retail Club is the membership for anyone wanting to start, grow, or scale a profitable product business. No more trawling Google trying to find the answers to your questions or wading through general business advice that speaks mainly to service-based businesses. Whether you're still at the idea stage or you've been going for a while but want to get more focused and organised when it comes to your business, the Resilient Retail Club is the place for you. With a library of courses tailored to creative product businesses, several live sessions a month, and a supportive and active community, the Resilient Retail Club is the perfect membership to help you hit your goals faster. Check it out at resilientretailclub.com.